I have had the good fortune and gratitude to meet so many consumers. I think one thing that stands out, whether you meet a consumer in Delhi or Barabanki or Guwahati, somewhere there is this desire that I want to do a little better for myself. I think that's a very, very important thing. So I think as Indians, we are not content. I would say we suffer from something called asantosh. We are not. Even if my lifestyle improves a little better, I'm going to work hard.
Yeah.
And what I've realized is that sometimes little changes can really help consumers. And if you recognize all of that. So like, for instance, when I was working on Wheel and when I met a lot of consumers, and Wheel is largely bought by lower income or at best middle income consumers. Fragrance during the washing process was such an important need, given the fact that the washing area in many of those households is damp, dark, damp, doesn't smell very good. So a moment of fragrance, that moment of fragrance, that whiff of fragrance really elevates, and that becomes a great marker of thing. Now, of course, you could argue that it's common knowledge, but marketers have to discover it. Right?
Hi, Krishnendu. Welcome to Jagged with Jasravee. We're moving into, what you call, you and many experts call it a black swan event in the history of our tiny lives. So how do you think this has impacted? If you, as a marketer, had to pinpoint few shifts, could I talk about beverages and if that got impacted or what was the way out? And after that, also Doodher Reportcard.
So if you see beverages as a whole, whether you take fruit juices or you take still drinks or if you take colas, I think everybody suffered the COVID. And I think for the simple reason is that a lot of the consumption that happens, is out of home. Yeah. And the moment shops were closed, say kids could not go to school or young adults could not go to college, that consumption got impacted immediately. And it started showing in sales. That was one. I think, and that was one. And second is that I think when COVID came in, there was this fear of catching a cold. So there was some avoidance in terms of COVID. In fact, when we looked at data from consumers, that concern did get highlighted. That's where consumers made a choice. Okay, I want to stay away from that. Yes. So I had a lot of friends whom I met even after COVID and saying, he's like, "नहीं, मुझे ठंडा नहीं पीना है. अभी थोड़ा सा I want to be a little careful about that." Yeah. So yes, consumers made a choice, and the industry was impacted. And I hope on behalf of the industry, it bounces back because there's a lot at stake for everybody for that one. But fingers crossed. I think the other category which behaved a little differently was, the dairy business. Of course, within dairy, also it's a little complicated. So it's very difficult to say it behaved completely differently. See, you got to realize that the fresh dairy channel, whichever organization it belongs to, is a daily delivery channel. And with so many restrictions in terms of people going out or even having deliveries in the buildings, some impact did happen initially. But given the fact that milk is an essential commodity, I think that's where it helped. Once organizations were able to stabilize their distribution, I think milk sales only started picking up. What happened is that institutional sales got impacted quite a bit. Like for instance, in Bengal, where my organization operates in fresh dairy business, a lot of milk consumption happens because of the sweet shops. And with sweet shops being closed, overall milk production and consumption came down. Of course, the government opened it up later for a few days because they were realizing that dairy farmers who were making so much milk had to throw it away. But also what I noted was that, as far as consumers were concerned, they also started doing a lot of things as far as dairy was concerned. Like we noticed that the sale of packaged paneer went up quite a bit. Yeah. For one reason is that I think there was a concern about the loose paneer that you may buy either in a sweet shop or a place which sells loose paneer, like very, very big market. So there was a gravitation towards that. So
people want to go for branded, organized, safe, trusted. Yeah.
Absolutely. You see, what helped was that, something that came as packed was trusted. Yes. We did see that ghee sales also started picking up because there's a lot of cooking happening at home. Because ghee gets cooked in different, especially in deserts. So we saw that happening. Again, it was a reflection of how the behavior happened. But I think the most important thing was that trusted brands which assure you for certain quality, ultimately will win over brands which have relatively lesser trust and lesser quality assurance. Yeah, I think that is the thing. And specific to what you mentioned about Doodher Reportcard, look, it was I'd say that it was a process that helped us arrive at that. Look, so let me tell you a little bit about that.
Yes, please.
One of the challenges that organizations face is that how does one bring in a new product? How does one bring in a new product into the market and give a compelling reason for consumers to buy? Yeah. So I think we were looking at launching a premium offering of pouch milk in West Bengal. Yeah, and we were thinking of how does one make consumers get notice of that and get them to pay a premium for the quality that we were doing. Yeah, and the happens in the fresh dairy business, in the pouch milk business, is that consumers believe, whether they're right or wrong, consumers believe that milk is milk. How wrong can you go with milk? It ultimately comes from a cow. How wrong can you get it? As long as it is not come from a koala who's you're not sure about, how bad will milk be? Now, in something like this, how do you create a quality and communicate it in a way which consumers will find it real? If quality is supposed to be baseline and yet a very important concern, you need to elevate the conversation a little bit. Yeah. So that suppose we were able to give you milk, and we told you the packet of milk that you've bought, I'm going to show you, I can give you the quality report card of that. Now, when I'm doing that, I'm putting myself forward and saying that, yes, I'm so sure of it that I can even share the quality report of so this fellow has just come in. Do you mind if he's a part of the call? If we are confident about that, let's say so many words and say it in a way which a consumer will understand. Now, if I tell you कि मैं अपने दूध का quality report आपको दे रहा हूँ, ज़्यादा अच्छी बात है. But if I say मैं अपने दूध का report card आपको रोज देने वाला हूँ, would be something, okay, now this is interesting. This is interesting. Yeah. That's why we came up with the concept of Doodher Reportcard in Bengali, the report card.
Yeah.
And what was the insight behind this? Look, I'm a Bengali, and any Bengali who's been brought up in Calcutta knows that how involved their mothers are about their education and the marks that they bring in.
Oh, I also know about it.
So yeah,
it's okay.
That's it. So they're so fastidious about that, and they're so concerned about their education. And I think I remember times when I was in school, I would see a lot of my friends' parents actually accompanying them when they came to give their exams, carrying curd with them, carrying nariyal pani and stuff like that. God knows what else they did. But it was a concern and involvement you had with the child's education. And I mean, the most dreadful moment was you didn't do well in school. Oh, report card aa gaya, and your mother asked, "Acha, report card aaya tumhara?" Okay. And that's the insight that we worked on. That अगर आप अपने बच्चे की report card मांगते हो तो दूध का क्यों नहीं? And that's what we made that little fellow in the ad say that आप मेरा report card मांग रहे हो, ये दूध मेरे को पीने के लिए बोल रहे हो, उसका report card आपने कभी सोचा है? Because of course the mother that we have is very smart and says, yeah, here you are.
Yeah.
So it's a nice banter. It's locally relevant. And as we are seeing, this is an idea that does resonate with consumers. I don't know whether it would work in a national context. That I'm not so sure about that.
I think it will work with every mother. The milk is essential for a child's development, no matter what no matter what concept of diet you subscribe to when you grow up. But as a child, for your overall development, your mental development, milk will stay essential. And for the brand to become distinctive and be so confident about the quality and to make mother an ally, I think this is brilliant. And the mother says that I can vouch for this milk. So,
yeah, and also if you come to think about it, like one of the biggest pain points of mothers is to get their children to drink a glass of them.
Yeah, I mean, the entire Bournvitas or the entire MFT category has tried to do this only,
And West Bengal is not a state which is whose consumption of milk is very high by the way. It's not very high.
Okay.
Therefore, it's a struggle. Therefore, it's a struggle. And that is also one of the reasons why some MFD categories have done relatively well in the eastern part of India.
Interesting.
It was a fussy milk drink. I remember that. My mom used to make some coffee and sugar and get me to drink milk. So you could say in some way it's an ode to all the mothers who struggled to get their children to drink milk and found ingenious ways. And this is just one of the ways of helping them.
Yeah, because it's not an easy category with such established players in the market, operationally and logistically.
I mean, you have such large brands like an Amul or even a Mother Dairy, which have established credibility over the years.
Yeah.
And for relatively organizations like ITC, we have to think differently as to how to communicate with consumers. I think these are ways that we are trying to break the inertia, because typically you don't change your brand so easily.
Yeah, correct.
Also, I mean, you get used to a particular taste of milk and stuff like that. If it changes, your kids don't like it, you don't want to do all of that stuff as a mother. So it's not so easy. We started the journey and let's see where it takes us.
Good wishes from Jagged with Jasravee. Okay.
I will need all of it.
Krishnendu, now you've worked on so many FMCG categories when it comes to middle class. Just zoom out and say that, okay, so much is being talked about evolution, change. What are the unchanging parts of the middle class?
If I look back at my learning from within as a brand, I think one of the most inspirational ads, and I wasn't part of it, but of course, which was called the cycle ad, like the kid coming next to that Mercedes, जाने कहाँ से आ जाते हैं, and the guy just, does all of that stuff, collar ठीक करता है, he says, uncle, दो का फर्क है, आ जाएगा. Indians are an unstoppable race. And if brands are able to find those sweet spots in cultural codes and communication, I think they'll be able to relate very well to consumers. The other thing I felt also, by the way, is that I think we as people are beginning to appreciate the need for purpose in life. Appreciate that, yes, you have to do a little good along with whatever in life, and which is why I think consumers over a period of time will start rewarding brands which have a purpose, brands that stand for something meaningful. So that's going to be a very, very important lesson. I think most marketeers, most organizations have understood it, which is why you see, one, so many organization initiatives taking place. Second, brands also having a slightly larger view and not just peddling.
Amazing, amazing. Such positive messages, Krishnendu, you've given in terms of, the human spirit that shines. When you talked about those ads, honestly, it's the spirit that is being applauded in those ads. And it touches you because it comes from a deeper truth that I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. But, I know I'm not going to stop. So beautiful spirit.
What is that? Why are you shooting me?
This is rapid fire, literal. So whatever I say, whatever comes to your mind, say it. Okay. Mom's best advice.
Stay healthy.
Favorite holiday.
I don't follow it.
No, I had something else. Okay. Favorite holiday destination.
I'd say Paris.
Nupur's most often used phrase.
Exercise karo.
If you were a breakfast cuisine, what would you be?
Medu vada and idli.
Seriously? Okay. What keeps you awake at night?
Netflix.
Favorite book? Favorite book?
It was called Vedanta, the Way of Life. I read it when I was in college, and I remember quite a few things from that. That's one.
Yay! I got a chance. Whatever comes to your mind, say. Kolkata.
Home is where the heart is.
Sankalp.
Creativity.
Always.
Smiling.
Mumbai.
Possibly my home now.
Okay. FMCG.
Everyday action, everyday challenges.
Mica.
Freedom.
Never.
Give up.
Missing.
My mother. Haven't seen her for a year.
What's next?
Utna nahi socha hai.
Krishnendu, it was an absolute pleasure to have you and listen to your brilliant insights and very interesting perspective.
My pleasure, and I'm really amazed by what you've been doing, Ravi. I mean, it's good to see a fellow classmate doing this, and I'm sure it must be taking a lot of courage and a lot of resilience for you to do what you're doing right now. And I'm very happy to be a part of the platform, and I wish you the very best. May your tribe grow, may your channel grow, and propagate whatever little we know towards the larger world. Okay, so please subscribe, like, and share Jagged with Ravi. It's a lot of fun.